right, let's get to it. It's Weather for Weather Geeks time on Thursday evening. We're almost done with the month of June, and as far as I'm concerned, good riddance. It has been one of our better Junes. When it comes to the weather, we've had wildfire smoke occasionally. We've had kind of a cool June compared to the average, and of course, we could use some more rainfall at this point. We'll talk about all these subjects in this video. Just like I usually do, I'm recording this video a little after 7 p.m. It's 7:14 to be exact, and here is the scene overlooking Youngstown. Now, I showed this same vantage point, exact same shot, in this video last evening, and it's hard to tell much of a difference between this evening and last evening. It's marginally better, perhaps. This is the current view. Here's a look at Wednesday afternoon. You can see generally, same idea. It's hard to make out the individual buildings in downtown Youngstown. The air quality index has been mostly up around 180 to 200 today. That puts us kind of in that unhealthy to very unhealthy range at times. The air quality index perhaps didn't peak as high today as it did yesterday in most spots, but any improvement was still fairly marginal. It's been another hazy and smoky day, and pretty dangerous, pretty unhealthy to be exerting yourself outdoors, particularly if you have some health and breathing challenges. But some good news ahead. More pronounced improvement is definitely heading our way on Friday, especially as we get into Friday afternoon. From west to east, more of a southerly to southwesterly push or wind direction shift will start shifting the thickest smoke out of here. Still a little hazy at times, and certainly sensitive groups. It's a code orange day tomorrow, so that means that normally healthy people, you shouldn't have too many problems at all tomorrow, even exerting yourself outdoors, because the air quality should be marginally better, somewhat better, enough that for most folks it won't be an issue. But for those with breathing issues, COPD, asthma, etc., heart issues, the old, the young, still maybe take it a little bit easy on Friday, but should be overall a better day in terms of air quality as compared to Wednesday and Thursday. So we're in that orange group on Friday, and then I think the smoke is no longer a story for us, thankfully, as we go into the weekend. We'll be talking more about rain chances and thunderstorm chances for the weekend and into early next week, and not talking about wildfire smoke anymore, at least for the time being. But, I've gotten asked a few times, is this just going to be the way it goes this summer? The answer to that is until the pattern changes enough over Canada in particular, and you get more frequent rains and cool shots, these fires, there's so many of them, they're going to continue to burn for a lot of the summer until a pattern change occurs. And as long as those fires exist in Canada, anytime we get a pattern that involves kind of a northerly flow to our air, especially in the lower and middle levels, we're going to see some smoky skies at times. But this particular episode is about to come to an end. Now, in most of our area, the dew points are not much of a story today, generally upper 50s to around 60. That's no big deal, no sweat at this time of the year, if you will. It's not crazy low and super comfortable like it gets sometimes when dew points drop into the 40s, but we'll take a 58 or 60 degree dew point anytime over a 70 degree dew point at this time of the year. I put this stat on social media last evening in case you missed it. We're going to finish June. We're going to have an above average day on the last day of the month, but it's not going to be enough to push us above average for the month as a whole. When you factor in both highs and lows, we're going to end up about 1.5 degrees to 2 degrees cooler than average, making it our second consecutive cooler than average month. We haven't had two straight cooler than average months in about 3 years. It's been since spring of 2020, April and May of that year. Those were the last time we had consecutive cooler than average months. All right, interesting watching the radar today. We had a bona fide derecho for a time. Bowing echo of thunderstorms that tore through central Illinois, impacted a lot of Indiana with wind damage, and then thankfully died over the last few hours into Kentucky, and most of our severe thunderstorm watches have been discontinued. This is history repeating itself a little bit. We had a very notable derecho on this same date 11 years ago. Now, this one was aimed a little bit farther to the north, and it was kind of a close shave for our television viewing area. This was definitely a big deal in Lima and Columbus and Zanesville, Cambridge, Athens, Parkersburg, Marietta, Clarksburg. Even some of the areas around Pittsburgh got clipped by this. But as you can see, while we did get in on some of the rain up in our viewing area, we missed kind of the heart of this derecho on this date back in 2012. This was a big problem because, as you may remember, 2012 was a hot year. We had a very hot month of March, an unusually hot March, and then the summer was pretty hot and dry, and we had tons and tons of power outages where this thing tracked, and then, of course, it was really hot afterwards, and so we had lots of misery in the wake of this thing back on this date in 2012. All right, no change really to the drought monitor across our area. Sometimes this product is a little slow to update. Even though we get an update on Thursday, the data that goes into this product is actually valid for a few days ago. I would probably take us out of the moderate drought designation in our area, even though technically we are not taken out of it. I would have probably taken us out of it if I were drawing this map, because we have seen some rains across our area. We're still in a deficit for the month, but we're doing better. Is it still abnormally dry? Yeah, I would say that, but moderate drought, no. But there's a lot of real estate covered by, very dry conditions in some very important agricultural areas. But there's some good news for those locations, in that relief is on the way. Locally, where we get our weather records at the Youngstown Ward Airport, of course, so we're going to finish the month probably, unless we get a big thunderstorm right over the airport on Friday, we're going to finish the month probably at least an inch, if not an inch and a half or more, below the average in terms of rainfall. Now, some parts of our area have done a little bit better than this. We've seen upwards of 3 inches or so in some areas during the month of June. But check out this model depiction of the rain over the next 7 days. This is the European model today. Some rains here locally, of course, but look how much real estate is covered by some of these orangish colors, a lot of the very dry areas so far. This is great news for crops across not only the Ohio Valley, but a lot of the Midwest as well, from Iowa through Missouri through Illinois and Indiana. Some places are probably going to see 2, 3, 4 inches worth of rain over the next week. I doubt, unless we get a couple of drenching thunderstorms training over the same areas, I doubt we get 3 or 4 inches of rain in most of our area over the next week. But someone's going to try to get that much in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, back into the Corn Belt as well. All right, severe weather risk as we head into our Friday, kind of in the same area as today. We're in this kind of derecho pattern, ring of fire pattern, if you will. Big ridge of high pressure down along the Gulf Coast. On the northern fringes of that high, you get these complexes of storms that ride over top of that ridge, and they tend to dive like this. And I think, this will be a possibility again on our Friday. Severe weather risk here locally is low, but not zero. A lot of us could be dry Friday, but some of us may get a pretty decent thunderstorm before the afternoon is through. Warm front lifts through in the morning. Minuscule chance of a shower in some parts of the area, maybe as we head towards 5, 6, 7 a.m. on Friday, but it's a small chance. Then we'll get into a decent amount of sun. Still a little bit hazy at times, especially in the morning on Friday. But by the afternoon, again, I don't think it's much, but maybe there's a shower, there's a thunderstorm in a couple of spots. Better chances of wet weather as we head into the weekend proper. This front kind of settles and becomes stationary, and it'll kind of attract moisture like a magnet a little bit. And, I think there's a better chance of our area getting wet late in the afternoon Saturday into early Saturday evening. Is it a guarantee? No. But probably a better chance than Friday afternoon. And once again, the risks here would involve a low-end severe weather risk, damaging winds, maybe some hail, but that's a lower end, and maybe a medium risk of flash flooding. Now, I think these will be moving along at a decent clip if they were to occur at all, but flash flooding may be a concern Saturday afternoon, maybe again on Sunday as well. We'll probably start out dry first thing Sunday morning, with rain chances ramping up again as we go towards the midday and afternoon on Sunday. Just like tomorrow, the severe weather risk on Saturday. This is the day 3 outlook, so this is Saturday into Saturday night. Once again, the risk is a little bit higher down towards I-70 and on south, but that doesn't mean the risk here is zero, that we get a heavy gusty storm before Saturday is through. Here's a look at a little more of a zoomed-in view of our local area as far as rainfall expectations over the next 72 hours. Legend over here, and it's going to be possible on the higher end that we see an inch to an inch and a half of rain in some spots. Not everywhere, certainly, but some places may end up with that much before Sunday is through. Certainly higher chances of that amount where we have a more active storm track in southwest Ohio. Over the weekend, temperatures will be warmer on Saturday than Sunday. We'll see more sun on Saturday. It's going to be fairly cloudy from the get-go on Sunday, putting a lid on temperatures. Also, there's a higher rain chance in our Sunday forecast, midday into the afternoon. I think it stays pretty active into Monday. We've ramped up our Monday rain chances. We still think that Tuesday, the 4th of July, is drier. Can we guarantee it's going to be dry at this point? We cannot. We have a low-end chance of a shower or storm in our Tuesday forecast for the 4th of July. Now, a lot of municipalities have their fireworks this coming Saturday evening instead of on the 4th. They like to have it over the weekend. So Saturday evening, we're going to have that chance at this point of a shower or thunderstorm. Stay tuned. This is a tough forecast setup, so check the Storm Tracker 21 app, I should say, often between now and Saturday or now and Tuesday, whatever your plans may entail. We'll be updating that thing with a lot of frequency as we get a little bit closer. You can tap on the hourly button and get those hourly rain chances. Daily button will show you the daily forecast, both for the day and for the night as well. I've got another Friday off coming up for tomorrow, but I'll be monitoring the weather throughout the day. Same thing over the weekend. I'll be, away from the studio and not officially working, but I'll be keeping an eye on things. And if we have some particularly active weather, I'll be chiming in on social media. Make sure you're following the rest of our team as well as we head into this 4th of July holiday weekend and the weather looks a little bit active. I'll see you back here for Weather Geeks on Monday.